What is up, everyone? Welcome back to another podcast episode on the Ricky2ra podcast. We are now on episode 16, so welcome back. Today, what are we talking about today? I was going through a few ideas again, like I normally do. I had 4 ideas that I wrote down. And I felt like I've dived into this a little in the working in the shop episode. That was such a key episode. I got all the key ones done right at the start. So if you ever want to go back to them, I'm sure episode 2 and 3 are probably the most important ones. But yeah, this one is confidence in magic, and I'm really narrowing it down to confidence in magic, but the overall aim for this is for anyone as well. So I'm talking about myself here, but then at the end I'm going to give like a few tips and stuff on, to build confidence. I'm only doing it from my experience. So if you want to know any other tips, I'm sure other people who've had way more experience than me in confidence can give you them tips. I'm just telling you stuff from my point of view and my experience in magic. So yeah, normally before I start I talk about other stuff, but I've not really got much on my mind this morning. So I'm gonna really, you know what, I just want to take the time out to just really, I know I do it every episode, but really I'd like to thank you all for listening and watching as well. It really does mean a lot to me, and I know I say it and sometimes it can come across as he's just saying it for saying it, but no, that's really who I am. I really appreciate it, because this is just something, I know I say this every episode, this is just something that I really wanted to do, and yeah, it's just coming out now. I'm really happy for myself that I'm actually doing this, because you don't know how long I've been wanting to do this. Just to talk on camera as well, just in general, just something a little bit different to what I've normally done in the past. And you don't know how many videos, unreleased videos. I'm not talking about this podcast format. I'm just talking about in general. You don't know how much video footage I've got from all over the years of me just doing talking to the camera and just magic and just stuff practicing and magic and stuff like that, because I was afraid to put it out. And finally this year in 2020 I've had the chance. I finally pushed myself and said, you know what, we're going to do this now. So yeah, that's just something that I really wanted to let you guys know. So yeah, I really appreciate it. Thank you for the podcast listeners, and thank you for YouTube for just tuning in every week, just to watch this as well. So let's jump into this topic for today. So confidence in magic. So here are my notes. I've got all the years written down from 2011 to 2020. So now. So if you did not know, 2011 is when I first got into magic. So you're talking about 9 years ago now. And I wasn't a confident person. Nearly messed that up. I was a shy person, and with magic it was escapism at first. So I always used to go on my computer on YouTube, type in magic tricks to learn, and I'd do it, and that's where I spend most of my hours really. So that kind of helped me escape from reality. But I always wanted to show my family, always, and nobody else, because that wasn't in the picture at that moment of time. So this is talking about 2011. So you're just talking about a Ricky that's just explored the beginnings of magic. Was very curious about how things worked. I didn't even own playing cards like the bicycle packs that 99% of magicians use. I just had like an Emirates pack that my dad got from like the aeroplane that he was flying on like years and years ago. So I was just working with that really, and I was so intrigued into all of this, and just showing my family, because I was so comfortable. I've lived, like, you know, your family, like you're with them like all the time, and especially at a young age, and your confidence is just normal around them because you've been around them forever, and so that didn't really come across to me as, oh, what happens if this goes wrong. It just kind of just, I did everything really, and everything was normal. I was just being me. But obviously I had like a sort of copycat style going on to whatever video I watched. I'd copy the guy in the video, or if I'd seen Dynamo on TV, I'd copy him. So the confidence kind of came from there, but my confidence level was still the same. It never dropped or it never went higher. It was still the same. And still for 2012 as well, that was the same. I didn't really progress in confidence wise. I kept the magic to myself, so not many of my friends really knew, or anybody at my school really knew that I did magic really in from like 2011, 2012. So my confidence was still the same. So I was just this shy kid that just so happened to know how to do magic tricks. Not really well, but just something that I was very passionate about. And in my mind, at the time, I did want to show people, but I didn't know how. I didn't know how to go up to people. I didn't really know, like, you know, I was so scared about other people. I was like, I'm never ever going to show anybody this. But it was like to the back end of 2012 and the majority of 2013, that started changing. So I had a tiny bit more of confidence because I'd built up some sort of like little magic routine, you can say, which is like just having a small number of tricks under your belt that you can like show people, so you can like show one after the other rather than having like a single one. So yeah, I'd show my family again, and then I started showing friends. So I've talked about this before. I'm just going to quickly go over it. It was like a school project. It was in my English class about your passion. The teacher wanted us to talk about what we're passionate about, and I think I was the last person to go on that day or something like that. And this is when my class didn't know that I did magic. Only my friends, like close friends, knew. So as soon as like the PowerPoint slide hit up on the screen from the projector and it said my passion, magic, everybody was like, whoa, what? And then I talked about it, and I did like a magic trick at the end, and everybody was just like so like shocked. I think it even made it better because it helped me go out there in front of my class. I think there was about 25 people in my class, so it helped me build my confidence there because I had to do it. I couldn't just like run out of the classroom and run home. You know what I mean? So I had like a tiny bit more confidence, and that helped just doing it on family previously and a couple of my friends there. But that was really the turning point where I'd do it like a little bit more at school as well. So yeah, in 2013 that was what happened really. I started doing it in school a little bit more. I started filming videos, but not as in a sense where I put it out, but it was like kind of looking back on it, and my confidence grew when I could see what I could do as well. So it started building slowly from 2011 to 2013. But 2014, that was a big game changer, and that was 6 years ago. That was a very, very big game changer, and there's one moment that comes in mind when I think about 2014. I've got to shout them out, so shout outs to Monica and Kamar if you are ever listening to this or watching this. So my cousin's wedding, and it was in 2014, and I took my cards. I'd always take my pack of cards everywhere with me I go, and bearing in mind I'd never like shown anybody this from 2011, so I'd take my cards like in my pocket at school, but I'd never show anybody anything, but I'd always just won it there. So in 2014 I'd take my pack of cards to this my cousin's wedding, go there, and I'm like really like at the boiling point now, where it's just like there's this amount of people at this wedding and I have to show somebody something. And I was there with my family, and I was there with my uncle as well, and I started showing him some stuff, and I just had to go out and show somebody something. So that's what I did. That day or evening was magical because I just went off, and I don't mean to sound cocky or anything like that, but that's exactly what I did that night. I went off. Like, I started performing magic to whoever I could that night, and it started going, it just went so well, and people were like shocked, amazed. Some people didn't even know, like in my family, that I did magic, like in like cousins wise, like outside of the like close family. So it was a shock to everybody, but it was like amazement for all the other people that didn't even know me. And that was a big point because that was the first time I started performing for strangers, people that I'd never met in my entire life. So I've done it to family, I know them. I've done it to friends, I know them. I've done it to school classmates, I know them. Strangers, I do not know who the hell they are, but I've managed to do magic in front of them, and I was on such a high that night. It was so unbelievable, and that was the turning point. That really was the turning point in my magic and my confidence, because my confidence went from here all the way, like you can't even see it on the camera YouTube, like all the way up here, like it flew. And yeah, that was just a big turning point. And from 2014, sorry, I started doing my gigs off that night. So I started performing for even more strangers. What else did I do? I did like a Christmas gig as well. That'll be on my YouTube channel if you want to see that. It's a Bradford City one. I started, but like, don't get me wrong, I didn't go from here, the confidence in here, and be like amazing at everything. Like, I was still at the same skill set. Like, the skill set didn't go up, but my confidence did, and that made me go out and perform magic. So I didn't like go from Ricky to like Dynamo level. Like, I'm not at Dynamo level, that's not what I'm saying, but I just don't want you to think that when my confidence grew, I just started like turning like amazing. I was just on fire every time. But my confidence just grew to the point where, you know what, I can do this to strangers now. So yeah, I was doing gigs off the back end of 2014, really, and that's what I've been doing since to this year. Obviously with this going on, I haven't had any gigs this year. But I would have done. But yeah, it takes one moment, you know, when you know that you need to do something, or you want to like show like your skill set, your passion to someone, you know, like when it's that point to just go off, like how I did. So yeah, on my notes, 2015 did close-up magic shows. My confidence was building after every gig. After every person, whether it was a gig or not, stranger that I was doing magic to. 2016 was the same. 2017 was another slight turning point for me, because I started performing on stage. Not like at every gig, I did the odd one, but it was a huge, massive confidence booster to me. So that was a really good experience, and it kind of it's an experience in itself. And I've talked about this on the past couple of episodes. I think it was a performing on stage one. All the eyes are on you on stage, whether in so compared to close up magic, like you're around everybody, everybody's eyes are still on you, but you're so close to them, you can like talk to them, engage. But when you're on stage, you're in like a static. You're just stationary, and like everybody's eyes are on you. I've talked way more about that in that episode, but that was a different experience in itself. But my confidence boosted there, and performing on stage close up was from 2017 to 2019, and I was just doing it to strangers ever since. I stopped doing it to my family just because it's like I've bugged them out from like 2011 to 2013, so like 2 years is enough for them. That I bugged them out with magic. It was time to move on. Don't get me wrong, I do it on the odd occasion to them as well, but that's where the confidence booster was for me from 2014. So from 2011 to 2013, it was slightly getting there, but it wasn't like massive. But from 2014 onwards, it just kept growing. Like it was going up on the chart. But that doesn't mean like I'm a confidence person in general. It just means that in magic, like I said at the beginning, like narrow down, like the confidence is there. Like I can go up to somebody and talk to them and say, can I show you some magic? Or I just straight away go into the magic, and then I can get like a whole crowd around me. That's what I'm saying. So I'm going to give respect where respect is due. I've done this in episodes before, but on my notes, I've shouted out Monica and Kamar for the wedding. Adi, I got to shout you out again. I shouted you out in my first gig episode, but Adi really pushed me in getting gigs for me. So that really helped me getting in like to a different crowd, different types of people, and performing. Shout outs to Marcus. I've always shouted out Marcus for getting me to perform on stage. Yeah, that was just a different experience in itself, and has really helped me with my magic and my confidence. But most of all, it's just myself. Not to sound cocky, but it's pushing myself to the point where I know that I need to get and show people magic in order for myself to progress. So I couldn't have done that without just the self-confidence of myself. Like that night in 2014 at the wedding, I didn't have to. Like even though I was boiling over dying to show something, but I didn't have to. I could have just chilled out and enjoyed the night, like just like a normal regular person. But I really wanted to go above and beyond and really like show everybody magic. So that's why that happened, because I told myself I need to do this. So it's always in yourself as well, and it helps me progress. Do you know, just like my performance pattern, so like what I say and do, that kind of like evolves over time as well. Like I can imagine on some videos that I've recorded back in the day at my first few gigs, like the way that I come across is completely different to now from what I do, because you just progress over time and evolve as a person and a performer. And yeah, I've got to give a big shout out, because I don't think I've shouted them out, Elegance Weddings and Evelyn's. They put on some crazy events, and New Year's Eve events are just off the hook. And that when you're doing magic to 900 plus people in a big hall, close-up magic by the way, not stage, that in itself is a big experience. And it's a game changer really, because it really makes you think as a close-up magician what you can do and what you can say to people to get around to everybody in that hall. So I'm glad I've got that under my belt as well. So I did say at the beginning, I was going to give some tips on how to build your confidence up. I felt like I've talked about all the stuff from my experience. I could have talked about it for longer, but I didn't want it to get like really boring from when you're listening to it. So I kind of like sized it all up and squished it all up into like what I was gonna say. But yeah, just some quick tips, just for others that are listening, or if you're interested on how to like build confidence up. This is just coming from me as a magician, as a performer, not me as in like just a regular person. Because I know in magic that I need to do this and talk to like different types of people and build my confidence up. So this is where it's coming from, okay? So how can you build your confidence? Don't overthink about it. So if you're like a performer, don't think about stuff going wrong. Just think about all the things that can go right. As well, because I've done it in the past where with like magic and stuff, I don't perform a certain piece of magic because I feel like it's gonna go wrong, even though that I've never performed it. So don't overthink it, just do it. What did I write here? Be consistent at asking people to see a trick. Okay, so obviously I was very selfish when writing this. I put be consistent at showing people magic. So okay, we're just going to go across that one. Practice as much as possible to as many. Okay, so just for magicians, practice as much but perform as much as well. So go up to people and show them like some magic. Just for ordinary people out there or just other people, just go up to people and just start just talking. Whatever your profession is. I feel like I'm getting out of my zone. Do you know, alright, just for magicians, don't be afraid to go up to people and show them like a magic trick, and just ask in general, because that's the first step that you need to go over first in order to start getting into that zone. And then for other people, don't be afraid to just have a conversation with other people and just about interests and things about them as well, because that's what I do. That's what I was trying to say before I kind of flooded off somewhere else. That's what I do. Sometimes I have a conversation with somebody just to break the ice with them, and then I'd show like a magic effect, because sometimes you get different types of people that don't really want you to come up to them, but once you like say that, hi, I'm a magician, can I show you something? And then you're like, oh, what's your name? Oh, do you like this and that? And then you just have a nice conversation and you get to know them better as a person as well. And that's what I feel like I do, or want to even do more at gigs and stuff. So I get to like know the person better and they can be comfortable with me as well. So yeah, I'm not really that good at giving advice, but I hope that did help for any of you out there. I'm only like giving you advice for things that I've done as well. I don't want to come across as somebody that's just giving advice out just for the sake of giving advice out. So I hope that helped. But we are at nearly the 23-minute mark. My camera has been on the red flash for low battery for about 10 minutes. So I was just hoping that it didn't turn off, but it didn't. So yeah, that is the end of episode 16, guys. And wow, do you know, I was at YouTube, if you can see my notes here, I was writing all the years down from 2011 to 2020. And I've never actually done this before, and I just can't believe that in 9 years, I've gone from doing it to family and friends to performing close up and on stage. It's just, do you know, if you write down like if you're listening or watching, write down your stuff from when you started something you were passionate about, from then to now. Trust me, you'll feel good, man. I've never actually properly done that before, so that was kind of nice to reflect back on as well. So try that as well. So yeah, guys, I'm gonna wrap. Oh my god, I can't even talk today. I'm gonna wrap up. So shout outs to all the podcast listeners, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Anchor, wherever you're listening. I really appreciate you. Shout outs to whoever listened to my podcast. I checked the data. Somebody did listen to it yesterday or the day before. So shout outs to you, whoever that was. YouTube, I appreciate you. Thank you for watching. Subscribe, like, rate it, or if you're on Apple Podcasts as well, that'd be cool. And I'll see you guys next week. So yeah, have a great day or night wherever you are.